Hey, are you thinking about moving to Green Bay, Wisconsin? Well, if you are, great, but just before you pack your bags and make the move official, there are 7 things I want to tell you about that you need to know about living here in Green Bay. Let's get started. First thing you have to be aware of here in Green Bay is the weather. The weather here can sometimes be super unpredictable, so if you're from somewhere down south or a warmer climated area, you need to be prepared for Green Bay because Green Bay will get cold. Even if it doesn't snow as much as in other places where it snows a lot, the Green Bay, especially during April into May, you can have warm weather, 60s, 70 degrees all week, and then the very next week you get a full-blown snowstorm. So just be prepared for things like that. Number 2 is the community and the culture here in Green Bay. Green Bay is naturally a very family-oriented type of city. The best way I could describe Green Bay, especially me not originally being from here, I'm originally from the Boston area, Worcester, Massachusetts, out over there. Green Bay to me is the largest small town I've ever lived in. And that statement alone will probably resonate with a lot of you people who are probably coming in from other places or relocating from larger places to here. Green Bay is for sure the largest small town you've ever will live in. Some other things too that I like to know as well is that Green Bay does not have a ghetto. I don't care what anybody tells you, Green Bay does not have a ghetto. You'll have places that people who grew up here, and me being here now going on 10 years, there's certain areas, where things are slightly more run down than the others, but none of it is a ghetto. None of it is so run down where you have abandoned buildings and things like that. None of it. All of it is still very well maintained. Same thing with gang activity, things like that. That's almost completely non-existent here in Green Bay. You have a few things here and there that'll happen, and that's like in any city. But for an area to be known for particular types of illegal activities and things like that, that is virtually non-existent in Green Bay. Number 3, one of the things I really enjoy about living here in Green Bay is the cost of living. Yeah, the economy is not the greatest, and even with all this inflation and stuff, the cost of living here in Green Bay is very, very, very decent. For example, if you're looking to rent here, one-bedroom house, a one-bedroom apartment and stuff, on average can still come around $600-700 a month. And then of course when it comes to buying a home and lending and things like that, that's all dependent on the person, but in general the cost of living here is a lot lower than it is in many neighboring cities, especially with Green Bay being the 3rd largest city here in Wisconsin. The capital, Madison, and Milwaukee, they're both more expensive to live in than it is here in Green Bay. Even with gas prices, on average, gas prices as of today, what's today? It's August 2024, and on average, it might be like $3.24 a gallon right now. So if you go directly down to Chicago, it's almost an entire dollar over, and of course that's because the city has tax and stuff on top of the gas and the taxes that you pay on that, but that's neither here or there. That we're not in Chicago, this is Green Bay, and the cost of living is very, very awesome to be a part of. Number 4 is education. If you have children, or even if you don't, the education system here in Green Bay is honestly excellent. I truly believe there's no part of the schooling system here that is really lacking like you would see in other major cities where maybe they don't have enough funding for this or that, things like that. Here in Green Bay, pretty much all of the schools are very, very good and well funded. Of course, in an environment like this, there's always going to be a pecking order where some schools and some jurisdictions are a little better compared to the other ones. And this is just public schools I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about private schools. And my kids go to a pretty good school district that I like to take them to. But in general, all of the school jurisdictions here are excellent. There is really nothing lacking, and I believe it would be the best education or anything like that for your children if you have children to be a part of. Number 5, outdoor activities. This also still ties in with the culture part that I talked about in part 2. There's a lot of outdoor activities, things to do here. For example, there's things like the wildlife sanctuary that you can go check out. As a matter of fact, I recorded a tour I did, and you can see in this little icon that just popped up that looks like a circle with like a line going through it, like an eye. You click on that and it's going to show you the video that I'm talking about. You can open that in a separate tab and watch it at the end of this video. But we have the wildlife sanctuary, we got things like the Bay Beach amusement park, and it's literally an amusement park just on a much smaller scale and super cheap. I mean, dirt cheap. I'm talking about the most expensive thing to probably ride is the roller coaster, and that literally costs $1 per person to ride that. Other things to do as well, we got farmers markets, and we have a lot of events that they usually do here in Green Bay, and even in surrounding communities. There's other festivals that they'll do. For example, down in Appleton, which is a nearby city as well, they do things like Oktoberfest. There's things like Paper Fest, Cheese Fest. There's like a fest for everything. So there's a lot of really cool outdoor activities and a lot of great excuses to drink if that is what you're into. But after all, this is Green Bay, Wisconsin. Number 6 is the job market here. Green Bay is really a very blue collar type of town. So you have about, I believe, at least three major paper companies here, such as Georgia Pacific. You got Procter & Gamble. You got Green Bay Packaging. There's a few other ones like Sulfidal and a bunch of other ones. And then there's another 2 major meat packing companies. There is a lot of industrial and manufacturing type of positions that are even available today here in Green Bay. So for example, with the cost of living, right? On average, I'm not saying this is every single one of them, but on average, a starting pay position for one of these positions at any of these companies, on average, you may be starting at $19, $20, $21 an hour. With the fact that the cost of living here is a lot more cheaper than a lot of other places, that will cover a lot of stuff for you and get you on a great head start for just living here in Green Bay, especially if you're starting out and getting on your feet and things like that. And finally, number 7 is the sports and entertainment scene here in Green Bay. It's very actually extensive, and you may be surprised about it. One of the big things that you got to check out, especially when you come here, and maybe you already have if you've visited Green Bay before, is Lambeau Field. I myself grew up as a Patriots fan. Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to like that, you know. And this is part of the culture thing too. You don't have people who get violent with you or anything like that because you're a different sports team or anything like that. Some places can be like that, but not all of them. But Lambeau Field is an awesome place to go check out, especially if you have family and friends. If you guys never been to an NFL stadium or anything like that, they got things like Family Night, which is usually a great turnout, especially with the preseason game and things like that. Green Bay, especially around Lambeau Field, is a really awesome experience during game day, with all the bars and stuff, all the live music, all the entertainment they bring in. It's really a great experience. So not only Green Bay Packers, we also got indoor football here. There's also an indoor football league. There's also hockey here, all in the same area. So many events, farmers markets, outdoors, and like I mentioned before, there's a lot of different fests that they like to do. There's even a nearby baseball stadium. I believe it's got to be maybe A or AA. And down in Appleton, a nearby city, there's a AAA team, the Timber Rattlers, who are a direct, they're affiliated with the Milwaukee Brewers. So there's a lot of outdoor activities and opportunities that you have. If you are from here or you've been here, let me know in the comments if there's any other tips that I missed. Make sure you comment it down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this next video I'm going to put up. That should be right here, whether it's over here, over here, over here. Check out that video, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one.